I wouldn't say underwhelmed, but maybe slightly disappointed by his performance at the Major in parts. Like, Major himself is having crazy games. Xantares, Wacardia, Woxit went a bit off the boil from time to time. He is a bit of an inconsistent piece of the artillery, so we'll see if he can have a better series here. He's going to be tested early on, and Siren and Chiron just immediately evaporate the CTs.
Oh, mate, the Siren song has lured them all in, and it has not gone well. One by one, you've been absolutely obliterated there. Take control of CT, get the bomb down, and it's looking pretty. It should be easy pickings onto the last man of Major to close this one out. He's going to try and find his way back in and actually causes a few issues on the re-entry. Eventually taken out of commission by Chiron, and BetBoom do take the pistol. Now, about a minute on the clock on this one. Again, BetBoom have taken that mid-control. They set themselves up looking for the pop flash over to fight towards short. Wacardia turns it. Ooh, the follow-up. They were hoping they'd catch him off guard with that. Tries his best to turn in the nick of time, but they still get the entry. And Major has got to put the foot down on this one, Vince. It's so uncomfortable, though. BetBoom, they've been so good in terms of the nades already into this one. Every time it feels like you've got a chance to find one or two frags, they flash you off the angle, they make it uncomfortable with the tagging from the HGs, and then just get in your face.
Man, Chiron's in a heater right now. Now, we're talking about Magnoyez is like the main player to watch out for. Individually, super talented. Chiron's having none of this from Eternal Fire. 7-0 start, tons of ADR spiking off the charts. Even Nafani getting involved with a 3K in this round. Like, that's a terrifying sign if you're Eternal Fire. Calyx yet to get off the mark, and Tares, although he's done a bit of damage in a couple of rounds, he's yet to get off the mark as well. And that was a rifle round. You know, they had everything they could possibly want, Jackie. It's not as if that was some kind of half-buy sort of, you know, forced by shenanigans. That was a full-on investment, and Eternal Fire have been utterly outplayed.
No, exactly. The sun's out on Mirage, and the guns were also out. And a minute on the clock.
They had that incendiary, but more importantly, they have all 5 players alive with Xantares on a pretty solid angle watching into window. The issue here is once that smoke clears, is Xantares going to be baited out into looking at connector? Oh, he will, and the timing here. The Farney's already perched up in window. They're drawing the shots away. They're keeping Xantares interested. Although he may get the spray down, the Farney's position is so powerful. And now he's going to start to rinse around the back. If he can get the drop on Xantares, that could be the round that falls with him, because there's 2 outside of ramp that are waiting eagerly to just charge straight in. Although Xantares survives a bit longer, it doesn't matter. They've lost the sight. And although Major may get a couple of kills for his troubles, from this point, it's not looking good that they'll post up their first round. More success for BetBoom. They just can't lose right now.
Just couldn't make it happen. Would have left him in a 1v1. Instead, it's forcing him to save. And that's 6. 6 on the spin, Vince. They're getting the bomb down pretty consistently as well.
Try and utilize some of their star players and kind of like have that confidence to go aggressive up mid, get in the face of BetBoom, throw them off their rhythm. Like, we often see Xantares and Wacardia go up middle and take the fight to tease on Mirage. I'd like to see more of that. This is an unfortunate peak. They didn't have a great buy coming in. It's a half buy with max round loss bonus, of course, so it's MP9s with a coming into the next.
You show 4 players of presence towards mid, they wrap back off, go for their classic execute towards the A site, molly under, 2 smokes across the block off the stairs. Woxic at least pushes past it. Goes for a bit of a gamble play on that one, and it will pay out. Strikes against Siren, so 4v4. Damage done onto Wacardia won't make it as easy. They try to set up the boost. Woxic looking over the top of the smoke. Meanwhile, the lurk in Nafani adding insult to injury. They break that open, but Zorte loses out on the AWP ratio, hits him back, and leaves us in a 3v3.
The best chance that Eternal Fire have realistically had this entire game. Grenade slaps onto Major down to 47. Chiron's going to try and take the initiative, get up close, still yet to die. The immortal player on the server. Another kill added to the tally, but will get traded out by Wacardi's MP9. And Anafani playing the post plant, lands the first. The bomb is planted for Magnoyez, and now Wacardia on very low HP has to try and weather the storm between 2 separate angles with no kit alongside him, no grenades. This should be mission impossible, and he will be claimed by Nafani. There was a chance, a glimmer of a hope, but it gets shut down real quick.
Lost bonus is there, Eternal Fire. You just got to keep forcing into it, hope for something to change. So an AWP is done once again. Woxic trying to make up and continue from the opener he found previously. Xantares just caught sleeping at the wheel on the drop down towards underpass. Bullet gifted straight to him. And again, BetBoom just have all the map control in the world and can dial it right down. They can play from trades from this point. And Eternal Fire, They've been conditioned to believe that they're going to go for late A hits all the time. So they're really gambling onto these. Woxic has to deal something. He's got to really pop off with the scope on this one, Vince.
This needs to be multi-kills for sure to lock down the B-Apps push. There's no room for error though. If he falls down, there's no one even close. Landing the first kill, smoke down as well, will afford him safe passage back to bench if he needs it, and additionally allows Major now to rotate in, so no longer alone. Major's also threaded a kill. A real opportunity. Woxic with another shot. Gas been delivering so far, maybe the only piece that's been working successfully. But Major locked in from Siren, who just peeks in. Because of how fast this round has been, there's still 45 seconds as well. BetBoom don't even have to fully commit to the B site at this stage.
And that exact situation you just discussed is what's going through their team speak right now. They're thinking about all the times we've seen BetBoom backtrack towards the A site late. And they're trying to read if that's going to be what we're seeing towards the finish. Siren gets a lot of map control deep towards CT. Depending on the timing, if he wins out on his duel, well, there you go. That's a huge play to open things up. Leave us in a 2v2. Siren reading it like a book as well. Expects the peek from short. It's an awkward encounter. He drops. Tech 9 not delivering, but eventually the shot connects. Woxic watching for the peek. Hits it on the face. An Eternal Fire, by the skin of their teeth, clinch their first CT round. Stable, but critical. 6 HP in a dream then. Backs off to try and bolster the defense towards the B site, and they might have read it correctly. Utility coming over the top. Here's the battle of short. 3 frags in quick succession as the CTs light up the scoreboard and do take down the bulk of the BetBoom warriors, leaving it on Zorte and Siren to scavenge this one. Or Calix with a freebie. Long distance on the SMG, behead Siren. And Zorte the AWP now in a hellish position with 9 seconds, forced to save it. So Eternal Fire do link the rounds together and get a second on the board.
Managed to slow down the pace of the likes of Chiron as well. No save weapons, and Zorti dies after time.
Always the timeline to scavenge one from Woxic as well if they find the kill onto him. And like you say, man, I think if you just play with pace, like we saw in a few of the earlier rounds where they went for set plays towards A, it would probably work out for them. Chiron was a big piece of that. He goes running straight in, thinking that he's going to live his movie, but the tripwire, that was slowing him down. Calix instantly slays him. And look at the amount of damage. Utilities ruined them, Vince. 2 players on sub 50 HP already, and you're kind of bailing on this one. You're getting info from Nafany on the back door towards the B site, and the bomb wasn't seen. Zorte didn't go for the full commit outside of ramp. If they can keep the CTs here, you could backdoor into the B and see if you can make a play on this in the late round.
Bacardia is running into the potential of being flanked right now from Nafany. It's exactly what comes to pass. And now, as you highlighted, the B site ripe for the taking. No one from the CT's over here, and Nafany's already made a move up into the market, where he is going to be an anchor that they can play on pivot off. The bomb's going to be down momentarily. The entire pressure of this round now shimmies back onto the CT's potential because Calix is super low. They don't have much utility. They've got a Molotov and a flashbang. And although there's tons of kits, if Nafany can get 1 or 2 kills in this position, that could lock the round down. Now, Magno Yes does get 5 by Major. That's a huge piece of the puzzle. He's not able to snatch that kill fast. And although Zorti comes in, now he's just blocked between 3 players. First is fell to the AK. Slightly maneuvers and gets a second as well. The HP favoring Woxic at this point, but he's not entirely sure as to Zorti's positioning. Zorti could have this. He's got it in the palm of his hands right now. And in amongst all of this, the bomb is ticking away. All the pressure on Woxic, even though he gets the kill, there's no time. Zorti clutches, and BetBoom snatch this round away from Eternal Fire. And BetBoom still come out and just steal it away from you. It's got to be a crippling blow. A multifaceted one at that. Now, Woxic is posted up in Palace. We're seeing a bit more aggression here, also on middle. Major goes out. There's the opening pick they were looking for. He can fall back onto the site. The hail of grenades comes down. Tons of flashes on top of it.
Woxic trying to stay alive, but the heat is being turned up and not in the right way to support him. Burnt to a crisp. Siren slays as the Galil does damage. And their numbers are dropping quickly here. It's just Wakadia and Major left. Smoke's blocking their vision all around. And they're overlapped as well. It makes it harder for him to use that HE to try and break it and take a fight to them. They've got to wait for him to expire. Wide swing on triple. The IGL strikes back on Chiron. Slows down the round, but there's no getting away for free. They wanted to posture off and at least have these 2 weapons into the next to facilitate a better buy, but you're caught on exit. And Major knows this isn't going to be as easy as walking away. Slain by Zorte, and BetBoom with another one. And see how they can make a play out of this one.
Pressure is swelling at this point, but it's Woxic that stands and delivers. Shut down from Macardia in the back, using the smoke as a shroud. Siren sent to the murky depths for the last time in this half, but they still have a chance. Magno posting up to kill Macardia is going to open up some business on mid, and still having 3 players with a lot of utility across the 3 of them and healthy. There's only 25 seconds here, Jackie. They've got to get a move on.
They got to go quickly. And Woxic swinging the scythe. The head's another one. Nafany dropped as well. Zorte all on him. He's won 1 clutch, but this one is far too much. He'll fall. An Eternal Fire. Scavenge an additional round at the end of the half.
Even though his team are being manhandled 9-3, he's posted up 13 frags. He desperately needs somebody else to come alive and activate. And maybe now they can run and gun and get the aggression out. This is where things start to turn back around. Siren, though, locks it down with 2. Major and Woxic sent packing. You highlighted how good BetBoom were in pistol rounds, man. And they're not disappointing again.
Dear, oh dear. Well, it leaves us on this then. Wakardia, 1 versus 3 in a dream to give Eternal Fire a way back into the game. Well, that's a way out of the round. Offered up by Chiron. Snapshot reaction. Puts him on 13-6 overall in the course of this one. With Saul single digits. Santara is close towards short. Seeing if he can catch whiff of a potential pick here. He's got backup from Woxic as well. Major's inside of the apartments. That defensive utility still in play. That's the first of the 2 smokes thrown out. So it's only the flashbangs left now for the CT side. And they're just drawing out this util, running straight into the crosshair of Nafany though. He's pushed the whole way through the ramp, cauterized the bleeding towards the mid side. But the re-entry from Calyx gives them room to breathe.
Constriction slightly alleviated. As you said, they have to finish off every opportunity they have. And we've already seen them have a player or 2 advantage and let it slip so far. But with 25 seconds, looks pretty bleak. Nafany stuck between 3 players, marooned on the island by himself. And although he goes in for more, it may not be good enough. However, there is only 17 seconds left on the clock. Wakardi is going to have to sprint straight across there, but he doesn't have the bomb. It's Woxic, who's in middle. 10 seconds to go. I don't think they've got time here. It's going to be so close, but I think they just lose straight up to time.
It's over.
Oh, Eternal Fire. What are you doing, boys?
Oh, mate. They've got an absolute marathon to the bomb site. And that was not a fun run. That's quite a sad one. And for Eternal Fire, this tale of disappointment continues. They're straight back in with a rifle, sure. But if the pressure was on them before, now it's even worse. They get absolutely massacred at middle. Magno Jez going huge, sprays his way through 2. Zorte assists, and you're down to a duo of Wakardia and Woxic, and I don't think they'll be finding a W on this one.
No, it's not looking good, is it? Woxic, although he has been the talisman of this Eternal Fire roster, by far their best player, and it hasn't even been close. Has the arduous task of finding himself 3 CTs, and he's stamping his way onto the site. He's going to be seen from a mile off, and Zorte nails him with the AWP. A 13-3 scoreline on BetBoom's choice of Mirage. We expected they should win this, but I didn't think it would be this easy.
Calyx looking for the info. Wakardia hoping to catch them off guard. It's a cheeky counter boost just towards the railing. Magno Jez, gets the free information and the first pick, but they trickle back. 2 frags favoring the CTs. A bit of control to play off of now, but the bomb scarpering, and BetBoom trying to rotate off and posture towards the A site. And the CTs, they've bitten on the bait of B.
They have. That smoke now put onto the A side, though, is going to draw away some rotations. And you can see that Simon was waiting for that. He was anticipating the rotation to come out from the B. And so that's going to keep one of the 3 now stuck over on the B site in the form of Calyx, who's already ripped off 1 head. 55 seconds left in the timer, though. And BetBoom have decisions. They have choices. They have the luxury of time being on their side. Calyx going back to B. And Major now making moves as well, so this could end up being a 3v2.
Playing the long con. The late rotate into the crosshair of Calyx, trying to blow them away. First connection's clean, takes down Chiron, makes it easier for the retake. 3v2 now, trying to bait them in with the fake tap on the bomb. Siren goes for it twice. He knows he's got a bit of time to play with here. Doesn't have to force the issue. Finally commits to the plant and they overwhelm. Calyx goes in and Major assists. They survive the test. The bait and switch pistol from BetBoom. And they needed a pistol in this series, Vince. And they get one to kick off map 2.
Today, the last time these two teams played against each other was a month ago, and they lost 13-4 to Eternal Fire. But they did get a close, really successful game against Astralis as well. Calyx with the spray only gets 2.
Ooh, is that enough? 2 players sacrificed from either team. Commotion at middle. Oh, peek up from Major. His head's been spotted. And Magno Jez, he used to be a hairdresser in a previous life, shows that off by taking off the top. Chiron with the short back and sides on Xantares. And this is a round in the pocket. Now, Vince, you just said, don't win the pistol and then lose the follow-up. And look what's happened. That's soul-crushing. Not only as well.
Another. The bomb's not going to finish off Chiron. He should be fine in this position with his 11 HP. And BetBoom right back off to the races.
The elevation coming into effect. Xantares is the moving piece. The bait from Wakadia lures them in. They're starting to get confident and expose themselves. Bit of ankle shown from Nafany. Wide swing. Was hoping to catch the AWPer off guard. Loses on the fight. And they posture off. You've got a first pick. They haven't sacrificed anything for it. HE goes in and the smoke. They've still got another nade as well. A ton of damage. They could really soften up the T's before they even make it towards the bomb site. But they need to put the foot down on the defense.
So has a time running dry right now. If you BetBoom. Have to turn that timer on its head, but they have to make moves now. Inroads onto the site need to be forthcoming. Who is the man for the job? Who is the pathfinder onto the A? Play, and it's going to be HE from Xantares down range. They get a double. Chiron and Siren both fall to the shrapnel. And although Magniez gets 1, that's all it's going to be. Much better round on the side of Eternal Fire, choking and stymieing this push as long as possible.
Woxic, he's playing close, pre-scoped with the AWP, deep on mid-side. Magno Jez, he wants to just walk through this smoke, and they're actually quite confident for it. Information gathered from Major, beats the timing of the Molotov, and is able to recoil back towards the site. So a first pick again for Eternal Fire this time.
And he has the strength in numbers that Calyx is there alongside him, so there can't be any immediate retaliation. Or BetBoom may have to pay the toll in a couple more casualties. Something we also didn't highlight in that first map is Siren's about to see action, and his second best is Xantares. Finally, Eternal Fire actually landing shots, winning duels. Is it the top fragger, the top performing player on that first map? It was Nafany, surprisingly enough. Even though Chiron started like a bat out of hell, it was actually Nafany that posted up a really solid 1.66 rating with over 105 ADR for that first map. So it goes to show that the IGL is capable of also fragging out, but he's not quite had the same level of start here.
Cooled off slightly. And Chiron caught by the backstab of Xantares. So from a duo, just down to one man. Horrible position to be left in for Zorte, really. 18 seconds on the clock. If he can clutch onto the AWP, that's the best investment he can peel out of this round with only $100 left. Tries to play on the off angle towards the stairs. Lets him take the fight towards the bomb site in case Major swings. Everyone else will want to keep their weapons. Obviously, the cache really isn't established on that CT side. It's been very topsy-turvy for them. So throwing away the weapons would be frivolous. Major just upgrades onto the AK. And he's looking for that opportunity, supported by the AWP of Zorte. Smoke goes up, he's looking back towards the default peak, expecting it, timing ever so slightly off, but it's still a dink between either side. Softening up the T side though as the nade comes in. The IGL, the CT's dropped as Major's slain, but the AK fire, ripping back. Hellstormer bullet slowing them down, and BetBoom unable to make it into the bomb site. Trapped on the extremities, walking through the smoke, but like a bad magician, Calyx splits Siren in half, and they go down. Eternal Fire claiming another one on their CT side campaign. The more energy they get behind them, the better they're going to start to play into this, because they've really had a rough time of it in this series. They've not had much to celebrate, and it can be a bit demoralizing. Ooh, okay, well that embodies that, doesn't it? Nafany straight in with the P250. Puts a bullet through where his thoughts get processed before Ricardo could even realize what's going on the ramp fight. Xantares, love tap towards the bottom, shuts him down on the getaway. We're back to a 4v4. That's one weapon that can be recovered. Luckily, it's just the MP9 in the hands of Chiron. It's not the most firepower behind it, but still, tons of time. And you're playing with the mind games already, right? Bit of an over-rotate from Eternal Fire. They're kind of spooked about the idea of this being an A play, dumping a bit of the util. And meanwhile, MagnoJez back to basics at B. Oh, the Deagle ruining the life of Major. And Calyx with a lot to get done.
Forced out into the open, but that's where he may fall. Zorti lays him down. Deagle in hand gets a second frag as well. And although he's on 18 HP, with the Deagle in his hand, it only takes the shot to connect to the dome. It is the AWP of Woxic that stands tall and delivers. The call must have come through that Zorti was on 1 or 2 HP, and Woxic will seal a deal. But considering that was effectively Deagle's a little bit, Cardi also struggling. Typically that X-Factor player you're looking at for Eternal Fire. Had a bit of a slow start to his tenure in this roster, but has really started to come into his own over this last few months. I think he turned a lot of people around at the Major in particular. Magno, though, the opening pick, the entry, forcing Calyx out into the open. He wants blood. He wants to avenge his fallen teammate. But he could be pushing his team into a 2-player deficit if he's not careful here. The AK-47 won't be shredding, but Siren will put him down immediately afterwards.
Big piece of that is Xantares being able to find a follow-up frag. Oh, read it correctly as well. Expected the fight from ramp side, but loses in the 1v1. Woxic, he's been in a couple of clutch rounds already today. Is this one that he can take home? 30 seconds, huge nade. The Molotov denying the opportunity to plant as well, and slowing down BetBoom, making these few seconds quite pivotal. Finally, Siren will HP and knows he can get it off.
I mean, Wakardi is going to be able to get dropped a weapon across by Woxic or Xantares. But Major and Calyx also pretty low in terms of the financial front. It's not going to be a great buy. Yes, they'll be able to have full M4s more than likely. Maybe an MP9 in play as well.
Getting themselves ready for the hit. Xantares taking as much map control information as he can on his slow flank. Calyx drops off the position just as the flash comes in. Cardia disappears from the round. Calyx only good for one as he puts the foot down. Woxic's AWP could be so huge here if he can find some more. Pushed by Zorte, but they're giving him the 1-for-1s. The spacing isn't there for BetBoom, but the angle, that could be there for Siren. Ooh, swing back out from Woxic, denies it in the 1v2. Good sight hold and 4 frags to his name. The AWPer comes alive for Eternal Fire. It's MagnoJez and Siren. Magno's reactions have been so damn quick, especially if they bait for the info. Works well with a 2-player setup for the CT side. Siren was hoping to catch them off guard on the swing out from ladder room. And no luck, no joy. MagnoJez with so much more to do on this one. Ooh, Xantares. His arm's been spotted, so it's info. Peeks ahead of the flash, hoping that would catch him off guard, but no dice.
Look where that came from. And a Molotov, but now it's Magno's turn to get caught. Not respecting the smoke or molly. Zorti has his work cut out for him, but he has heard the pitter-patter of footsteps around the corner. He knows what's coming up. The issue is that he's isolated from his teammates, so he's kind of baiting Chiron to a certain degree here, looking to try and sideswipe in. Finalizes the frag onto Calyx, opens the door for Chiron to try and exploit it, but it's slammed in his face by Major. Now Zorti in a 1-on-2. He has control of the bomb. He can get a post plant down on A. And they're going to be slow for this one because they mollied off the window, so he should be able to not just get the bomb plant, but also get into a decent post plant position.
We've seen this angle cause so many issues this year in 1v2 clutches. Close towards the box, looking to isolate the 1v1s. Footstep towards elevator, giving him an inkling of where they're coming from. They're doubling up and looking to try and play off each other. Major doesn't clear towards the site. The peppering of bullets from Wakardia. He knows exactly where he's planted and finds the tap to the cranium. Oh, Zorte. That round was his forte. A 1v2 clutch vids and another one under the belt for BetBoom. find something to work with. This makes it more awkward though. Utility's there, it forces the issue. You've got to run and gun and spam. Not the best position to use the 5-7 in. Wakadia barely gets ahead of the HE, but here's the real play. Bombardment on the B site with Magno Jez doing what he does best. Goes in with the Galil and opens it up.
Yeah, misdirection over onto A. B was always going to be the final destination here for BetBoom. They had 4 players waiting to explode out onto the site. Up close is where the 5-7s and MP9s can shred, can rip, and they're landing headshots left and right. Suddenly it's down to Chiron. 3 players low, all up against him, and the bomb's not even planted yet, so he doesn't have that to play off. They're going to run into him one by one, and he shuts them down. But he doesn't have the bomb. And so he has to fall back in there, Xantares with the AK. They snatch the round away. Anthony with Zorti both locked down on the side. Chiron watching the longer angles. Smoke's now going to deploy in his eyes, though. Fully blinded, Xantares now being activated once more, really coming alive into this game. May have been a slow start, but nothing but headshots delivered, and Eternal Fire will be forcing the plant down.
Oh dear, oh dear. Bomb planted. The Turkish Terminators being able to seize control of the A site. And Magno Jez and Chiron. 2 very powerful players for BetBoom have it all to do. Bomb about halfway ticked already. And they're waiting for the overextension, but it won't matter. Wakadia, the Glock pops off, beheads the first. Magno Jez, he's just holding, expecting them to push him towards elevator side. He's going to go fishing for frags at the end here, just to deny any potential armor or Julie's going into the next. But the round itself, no chance at that. Eternal Fire take both pistols, and that might very well be the lifeline they needed, right? You know, it was a struggle back on Mirage. They couldn't get rounds for love nor money. Taking both pistols here, Vince, and some important clutch rounds as well. Maybe the CS gods are favoring them on this one.
And a lot of that was facilitated by having Chiron and Zorte having a really solid Mirage on top of that. Magno's been nuked into oblivion. 45 HP, 0 HP. Disintegrated by the high explosives. $600 well spent.
Those nade lineups paying off perfectly. It's a big part of Eternal Fire's game now. And they show how successful you can be controlling the B-bomb site with just a few $100 dumped into utility. Timing-wise, we're looking at about 40 seconds here. Siren's playing back quad. He's ready with a pop flash. And Zorte's there to support Nafany. A little bit suspicious that this would be a late play towards the A site, but that's going to be the info they were waiting for. Oh, Zorte on the cross couldn't take the fight he wanted because of the Molotov, and you're trapped between either side. He's got an edge on the side of the smoke here. Goes flying off 50 floors down to his grave. Siren in quad has not been cleared. It could be the ace in the hole. Xantares like ships in the night. Surely he's got to realize he's being blocked by something. He's waiting on the angle. The smoke will dissipate, and that's the freebie. Eternal Fire take it. 4 players surviving and another round taken. Xantares tucking into the corner, playing anti and setting up for the boost. It's actually Woxic that's going to go over and assist Calyx. See if they can get up on top. Meanwhile, a kerfuffle towards ramp. Oh, Wakadia. Shot peek. Crouches up. Makes it awkward to spot him. He's really low as well, so he has to hit this instant tap to the cranium. Double tag. Oh, a lot of damage, but no frag on that one.
Yeah, 19. Chiron can limp his way back to the site. 50 seconds coming up on the clock, and now it seems like Eternal Fire have decided it's going to be an A play to finalize the round. They know that Chiron is low. He has spotted himself some information with that jump peak. And now they're going to try and get Zorti involved. Frag down range for Calyx. They have to try and fall back now, but this is leaving Zorti in an awkward position, stuck behind the sandbags. They're not going to try and capitalize. Instead, they're headed back over onto B, where Magno is up close, waiting, ready, willing, and able to lock this round down. And he'll do just that. 15 seconds, no real hope. Although Major may return fire, he doesn't have the bomb, and he doesn't have the time.
The right man in the wrong place can make a world of difference. Magno Jez really was the crowbar to open up another round for BetBoom on that one. Big plays, heads up maneuver, jumps up, takes the fight. like a similar position to what we saw in the first map. It's BetBoom that don't really have any room for error. Can't afford too many mistakes here. If they concede even another round, it will be match point for Eternal Fire. Wakadia, he gets a double entry, and this is a difference in pace. Trying to really speed it up for the hit towards the A site. It's a little bit slower on the backup though. Woxic and Xantares, lucky to be in live as the scoped assassin. It's hit by a few bullets on the side.
What a difference a map makes, huh? 0 opening duels for Xantares and Wakadia on Mirage. 7 so far on Vertigo. 6 of them coming off the back of Xantares, and he is 6-0 for opening duels. This man has been a can opener, and there's no way that BetBoom have had the armor to deal with him. Major, meanwhile, up close. Waiting on the ramp, peek in position, but Major is going to punish Magno, who got greedy. He wanted both. He didn't finish his dinner, and he won't get the dessert. And it's another round for Eternal Fire. That could have been the difference maker, Jack. If he gets both those kills, everything turns on its head.
There's no way we're going to go down in regulation now. Keep our heads strong. We know we've broken their economy as well. Oh, but they do the classic BetBoom maneuver. They're low on cash, so they invest into scrappy weapons and they push straight into you.
Remnants of previous rounds with pistols. That no fear mentality. Screw it, let's just go all in. Has worked out a charm. Nathany with his second kill from 2 kills to 6 in the last few rounds. Is it too little too late? And punishes him.
If they give him a chance, give him any 1v1s, maybe there's a bit of breathing room. I mean, Nathany's just going for the jump spots. The second he gets info, imagine he postures off, actually just takes the fight raw, hits that one. From AUG to AK, and another round under the belt. Oh, it's actually the AWP towards the bottom of the ramp as well.
Which you'd assume out of the next 5, at least one of them is going to go in their direction, considering it was 4 rounds in a row to kick this half off. BetBoom have only been successful twice on their CT side thus far. Azorti looking to try and make it a 3-peat with the AWP. Grenade up and over as well, negligible damage. But there's not many weapons to really play off here. Flashbang in, Magno bypassing most of that. Double kill, but can't come through with a deagle. Takes 2 players, nearly a third as well, and he's a man on fire at this point. 19 frags, tons of damage, but not enough to finish off. And that puts Wakadia up against the world. Julies and now an AK in his hands. 35 seconds, he's got time, doesn't need to rush it. But he's being flanked, and Chiron will lay him down. That's another saved map round here on the side of BetBoom, but
no GG in the 20th. We roll again to the 21st. Deep ramp smoke goes up. Chiron, he's walking the whole way in. Oh, he's going to surprise them on this one. He can play in the close angle. He's suspicious if anyone had already walked through it. If they'd done the same back to them. No one's here. Nobody home, and Chiron just waiting for his opportunity to strike. Laid low and crouched. Wakadia on the push-up overwhelms the Orpa and Zorte. Their trump card is still biding time for the backstab. They're not going to clear it. Xantares taken out of commission. Response from Wakadia is good, and we fall into a 3v3.
Chiron didn't get enough, though, out of that. That needed to be bare minimum of 2 frags, but Nathany keeping the dream alive. BetBoom maybe can just stall a stay in execution. Calyx with the jiggle peek. Downs Magno. Clear sight across to B. The bomb's still in transition, though, in a 2-on-2. They got time, they don't have to rush this, and utility is put into position just to keep the CTs at arm's reach for post plants.
Double trouble for BetBoom. Both going over the Guardian. Flash in CT. Siren with his smoke in his hands. That's the only piece of utility they've got. And Wakadia plays close on the edge of the smoke. He could backstab. Nathany's looking for the clear, couldn't spot him. Shrouded by the smoke, and silences Nathany. All down to Siren. And alarm bells are sounding. And I don't think it's going to be going the way of BetBoom. He tries to go for the smoke and mirrors play, though. Jumps on a bomb. Calyx knows the lineup. That's the tap to the back of their head. And Eternal Fire take it. Ooh, it bodes well also, because Eternal Fire get a T-side start on this one. Like we said throughout the series, it's where they put their best foot forward. Playing off the spawns, but same can be said for the CTs, and it gets messy at middle. Short boost utilized, the Julies dealing damage, and a team kill being the first blood that's spilt. Zorte as well. Oh, they've got him pincered, and it all goes wrong. The bomb is cold on the ground, the backup running from the site, laboured shots from the USP. Major has an opportunity to deal damage, and does just that. Frags back, but you're still in a horrific position, Vince. 17 and 23 HP in a 2 versus 3.
They've just been encircled. I'm amazed they're even still alive, to be honest, Jackie. Their players are like CT side shooting up from them, one on long, a couple are over on short. And although this should still go in favor of BetBoom, especially considering that Chiron has his Julies set into play and both players are below 20 HP, the fact it even got this close is pretty surprising. Xantares, can he pull off a miracle? Looking less and less likely with every passing second, but the drive-by headshot onto Chiron, a thing of beauty, gets shut down immediately afterwards from...
You can see Major there, using the way the roof obviously knocks you straight back down to the ground, so your hitbox is always moving, and you can get the info of who's crossing middle, if they're pushing towards low, without being as easy of a target to hit. And Woxig doesn't have the scout, but does hit the head, cracks open the cranium of Zorte. Obviously, for Eternal Fire, Dream Scenario is starting their endeavor on Dust 2 right here, up against the bonus round from BetBoom, not letting them farm up the cash or take this round to the grave. Ricardia's got a suspicion about Longhouse, and Siren's already pushed himself up. Nafany looking to block the smoke. He was hoping to give them a bit of control. Siren gets the read. Timing on it's all right, and he might actually get away. Has done so. Ooh, a little bit rougher here. He can back up Magno Jez on the A push.
Even trade back and forth, only 45 seconds though, but Woxic lands the nail straight to the dome of Siren. That coffin planted back in the dirt once more. Doesn't look like there's going to be any resurrection either. BetBoom will have to save this AK, and Eternal Fire will be off to success. I mean, it really is anybody's, but there's very little sample size for us to really talk about in terms of how BetBoom come into this one as well. Like, you expect the Zorti probably going to be solid when he has the AWP in his hands as well, but they can keep the economy down as well, Jack. I mean, that's another element to it. Like, you may be...
So he's got that to work with. Instant drop down. Woxic had the spawn for this. He's trying to play off the timing, hit the Flutie shot on the cross, but that one doesn't deliver. Calyx, though, out long. Oh, big uppercut. Stereo frags and creating space. But the AWPer is here. You can still undo all of the damage done by the T side with a few clicks of this scope. Oh, over adjusts. The barrel peak throwing him off.
And Chiron is watching B by himself, trying to simultaneously have eyes in the back of his head onto middle. Doesn't look like he's going to be tested anytime soon, but now the T's begin to make a move over onto the other side of the map. Major, a freebie peak. That will alleviate some of the pressure, and now you can see the BetBoom have a very good read of the situation. They're actually transferring both of their players away from A. One cat and one mid, respectively. And Chiron hiding just in the alcove. If this goes unchecked, it could be a complete nightmare for Eternal Fire. Like, this round could still slip through their fingers.
It's the classic off angle. You've got to clear it. Do your due diligence. The elbow sticking out. It's the foot that gives him away. Xantares, smart stuff, hits it. Zorte gets ahead of the Molotov. Oh, death-defying stuff. Nearly got back far enough to salvage it. But a one-for-done frag. That's all he gets. Calyx with a backstab.
It feels like a bit of a drop in the bucket, especially if they can't get their rifles off to a good standing. I mean, we saw this on Vertigo. How many rounds with pistols did they take 2 or 3 players down? But when the rifles came around, it was nothing. It was nothing to write home about. And Xantares immediately plucks out Zorti. Sure, he takes a dink for his troubles, but that gives them the advantage once more.
5 versus 4 on the T side, you can take that every day. Converting from this point is far easier. Makes the defense a lot harder and puts pressure on BetBoom. Especially when he can just play to stay alive. Be an extra presence on the scoreboard. Doesn't necessarily need to be used as an entry. You can use him as a closer. Major. Oh, so blind. Ruined by the flashbang. And Siren assists his IGL to put the foot down and attempt to control short. Woxic got to wield the AWP like a shotty. Strikes on the first. He's debating whether or not he wants to commit to this peak as well. Dive round the corner. Shows his elbow. Putting the pressure on and making it uncomfortable for Siren. And that gives timing for Ricardia to backstab. Spites on CT. E-peak doesn't go the way of BetBoom.
Nafany kind of getting a bit overzealous and aggressive there. I assume it's because of a lack of utility, trying to establish dominance and authority over Catwalk would alleviate pressure over on middle side. just completely backfires. Flash is good, and the follow-up damage is there from Macardia. There will be no saved weapons. And the money looking dicey, to say the least, over on BetBoom. That's now 4 rounds in a row. It requires Zorte to get 1 or 2 kills bare minimum. The smoke's still in the eyes of both teams, but the T's are getting up close. Looking to explode in onto the site. Smoke now clearing, and Woxic nails Zorti in the head through the box, and a smoke on top of it. Zentaras will pick up the pieces, and there's another one anticipating the jump peak. Oh, this man is on point right now, as are Eternal Fire. And BetBoom straight back into having to save. They are just getting decimated across the board.
Big frags now. Nice site control taken, and Tares hitting his shots. And just like you said, right, the read on the round there. Expecting the jump peak. But no Kukuli around here. It'll be the scream, seriously no, that's dropped by Xantares as they're running away with it. It'd be a sick round under the belt. Again, BetBoom being able to find themselves anything to get them ticking over, get some sort of flow going to their CT side. And you're giving up so many rounds of buffer to work with here as well. Calyx even on the hunt, gonna spot him. Oh, they have plot armor, Vince. Every time they're spotting him out in the last second and just being able to steal away the denial frags to keep them in check, making them spend all their money on these rebuys. Eternal Fire again and again have been trying to force the issue out through long. Magno Jez with a scout. Izzy is sick with it, as Woxic's been. It's the early info, but it's the close angle that could catch him off. Instead, it's the repeak that does damage. Siren strikes with the 5-7. Put him back on top of the site. He can recover the scout if he wants to try and get his hands on it. It sticks to his guns, playing with that pistol. Xantares mollies the cubby, flash across to give them some room to get onto the bomb site. And Calyx has control of top mid as well, Vince. There's not really much room for the CTs to flank on this one. It just goes down to if they can hit their shots and hold back Xantares here as he creeps up ramp.
Flashbang actually doing more harm than good for the time being, and ends up getting both Major and Calyx bested as a result. Xantares now going to be pulling out the mop and bucket and just sweeping away the stragglers of BetBoom. Tossing in some utility over on Campbell to try and isolate these two from one another, but a counter utility smoke was put into place. Xantares now anticipating the peek through. The spray was nearly off, but able to control it just in the nick of time. And our Siren picked up only his second kill in this round, with it all to do, and Xantares will do what Xantares has done this entire map.
And yeah, there's firepower at least this time for BetBoom, but what's the change up? Magno Jez is given the AWP, and so is Zorte. Magno Jez going for the contact walk-in. Calyx is on the off angle. Even if you're pre-scoped on this, has to play in quick succession with Chiron, or it could get so messy. He's going to look for the trade now, but it's an awkward angle. If you take the fight into him, Calyx should win that all damn day, so he's just going to have to hold and play a game of chicken towards upper tuns.
And Calyx will not flinch. It's Magno that blinks first, as he's put into his grave for this round, and it's just more of the same, Jackie. It's kind of hard to get excited about this from BetBoom's perspective. Like, they haven't really tried to be too aggressive other than when they've been on eco rounds. They're not really trying to take too much mid control. We've seen them toy with the idea of lower tunnels, but that's only once. But there always seems to be an answer, or multiple answers from Eternal Fire in these rounds, and it's forcing into yet another save. BetBoom 8-2 down already on their CT side. And you better believe Eternal Fire, who have swarms of cash on Woxic, Xantares, and Calyx, they're going to go for a hunt. They want to secure this round as cleanly as possible and take all these weapons away. Zorti and Siren will fall on their sword, and Eternal Fire allow no prisoners, no survivors once again.
Absolutely owned. We need to pick up a double AWP and try and go for contact pushes on the extremities. You get nothing for it. Now you're going to be overwhelmed just on a raw B hit. Chiron has to go huge. He's flashed off, gets contact. There's the peak on the elevated angle. Draws the crosshair off. Nice moves from Magno Jez though. He doesn't need an AWP. He's causing issues with the scout alone. It's all on Xantares. Is there about to be a hero clutch? No. Denied by Siren. But yeah, dude, you put him on CT side, Vince, where you've got to push into him with Woxic playing the way he is, you're going to have even more problems. And they've been favoring these hits towards the A side. You kind of postured for a late mid to B on this one, though, especially with the smoke going up. And that would be Calix's opportunity to ratio Kyron on the close angle. Depends if he clears it, though. He's reading it well. They might just pass each other. Chiron's backstab could make a world of difference, but they spot each other on the edge of the smoke. Meanwhile, the commotion at middle results in the T side having the edge. And Zorte's walking into his demise, isn't he? Woxic on the angle, wins the 1v1, but smoke in his hand. Smoker mirrors and Eternal Fire put the end in that one. I think the other problem is as well, Dust 2 is a little bit more puggy on your pistols in terms of the limitations you can go for with the amount of utility you can realistically afford yourself. They've got the smoke for the cross, the smoke for short. You throw those over, the new skybox is giving them a little bit more freedom for a play like this. And then flashbangs for the close fight. Woxic though, P2K, making money, backed up by Wicardia. 1 by 1, it's a shooting gallery. And BetBoom being knocked off kilter. Wicardia knows the angle as well, back towards Plat. Those Glocks just not delivering. I mean, Zorte's the one with the upgraded pistol as well. He's got a P250, Vince. It's about range for him, and he's watching the flank.
He's kind of been bullied into submission, hasn't he, with all his teammates littering the floor. Does land a couple of tags there onto Wicardia, but he's about to get pushed in from the side of Calix. Do we see a potential shank? No, he's been spotted. Calix goes down, but it will be an even trade back and forth, meaning Eternal Fire hit double digits already. And I should also highlight...
Yeah, it rattles his cage.
Last opportunity for BetBoom to force their way into this matchup. And it will be Chiron kicking things off with the AWP. Obviously based off spawns, because he's immediately tossed that back to Zorti again. So they've got the pick they were looking for. It's on to Major.
If they go for this play late up through short, you're leaving it all on Xantares. He's got the nades though. Depending on the timing of when these are used, it could be big for him. Sets up with both of the HEs behind the box. If he gets them off in quick succession alongside the Molotov to slow him down with the tagging, you're going to ruin their lives. And Woxic hits the first. That'll instigate the push up short. Molotov slows them, the HEs on top will shut them down. Both of them thrown out, but they backpedal. Just Zorte and Siren then trapped on short.
And they're trapped, they're desperately trying to unshackle themselves, but time itself is weighing down on them. It may have to be a save, and how brutal a feeling that must be. You're eyeing up a 12-3 deficit, giving 9 match points across to Eternal Fire to book their spot in the semi-finals, and all you can do is save. It doesn't get any more grim than this. Will they even be afforded that luxury? They're trying to go for the hunt. Looks like they will be allowed to keep the AWP and AK, but...
Getting a bit desperate now, just playing off the spawns. It is the classic Dust 2 maneuver. If you've got the spawns to try and take the fight long, you better go for it. Swings out, hoping he can hit it. Doesn't deliver on the opening punch. Will get a second shot at it, and that's down on mid. That's Xantares going aggro towards short side. And you're causing a bit of commotion at middle at least. Just runs down with his knife out. Woxic on the repeak, and it all comes down to this B bombardment. Live or die by the B hit. Ooh, it looks mostly like a bit of living going on. They slip towards the back of the site. You get the smoke up for the cross. Woxic paranoid shooting smokes. Can they make this retake happen?
Carly's going to be pop flashed in, but the smoke is so thick he can't see much. May get one, but that's all. Woxic spins in, pivots in for a kill, but does get traded immediately back from Magno. So BetBoom will live to fight another day.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, Vince. This is the classic, mate. You get the smoke instantly off. They have no idea you've gone for the B stack. You're walking into them. The tank itself. Oh, anti-personnel shells being fired out by Woxic and Wicardia. And the pistol prowess might have just won them the whole damn game. You know what, Vince? It's got to be guaranteed, isn't it? Magno gels. He's in T-spawn, thinking, how on earth have we been obliterated? What's gone on? An Eternal Fire, seconds away from winning their 13th round and series off the back of an eco stack on B.
Magno just face palming like, boys, how have you just been completely annihilated by 5-7s? What's happened here? And there was no flashes or anything preceding the peak from the T's either. 5-7 at range, dinking, death by 1,000 paper cuts, and Eternal Fire stamped their authority to take it 2-1. It was a slow start, But once they picked up the pace, Jackie, they left BetBoom in the dust.